Welcome to Stairway to English. In this video, discover simple ways to stop overthinking and practice English easily. You will learn practical tips and improve your listening and reading skills. Let's go. Episode 1. Why do we overthink? Overthinking is something that many people experience in their daily lives. It is when our brain does not stop thinking about the same problem, idea, or fear again and again. Sometimes we do not even realize that we are overthinking. We just sit, and our minds become full of questions, doubts, and worries. It feels like we are trapped inside our own head. Overthinking can make us feel stressed, anxious, and even tired. But the good news is that overthinking can be managed. It is possible to slow down the endless cycle of thoughts and find peace. In this first part of our guide, we will explore what overthinking really is and why it happens. Imagine you are waiting for a message from a friend. Your phone is silent and no message comes. At first, you feel normal. But then, after 10 minutes, your brain starts asking questions. Why didn't they reply? Did I say something wrong? Maybe they are angry. Maybe something bad happened. In just a short time, your brain creates a long story from a very small event. This is overthinking. A simple situation becomes bigger and bigger in your mind. The truth might be simple. Your friend is just busy. But the mind does not stop. It continues to think of many different reasons and possibilities, and most of them are negative. This is how overthinking controls us. One reason we overthink is fear. Humans naturally want to feel safe. Our brain tries to protect us by preparing us for danger. But in today's world, we are not always facing real danger, like wild animals or physical threats. Instead, our brain sees danger in small problems, social situations, or personal decisions. For example, when you need to make an important choice about your job, your brain may start to play all the bad outcomes again and again. What if I fail? What if I make a mistake? What if people laugh at me? This is the brain's way of trying to protect us, but in reality, it only makes us feel weaker. Another reason is perfectionism. Many people want to do everything perfectly. They do not want to make mistakes, so they think about every small detail again and again. For example, a student who prepares for an exam may think, did I study enough? Should I study again? What if I forget everything in the exam? What if I fail? These thoughts can continue for hours. The student does not rest, and instead of feeling confident, they feel nervous and tired. Overthinking does not help in this situation. It only steals energy. Overthinking also happens when we try to control the future. The future is unknown, and this makes many people uncomfortable. Our brain tries to find answers by creating many different situations in our imagination. But the problem is that most of those situations never happen. Still, our brain wastes energy thinking about them. For example, when you plan to meet someone for the first time, you might start to imagine all the possible conversations. You think about what you will say, what they will say, and even how they will look at you. By the time you actually meet the person, you're already tired because you spent too much energy thinking about something that hasn't even happened yet. Overthinking can also make us remember the past again and again. Maybe you said something wrong last year and your brain still repeats the memory. Why did I say that? What if they still think about it? I should have done better. This is the brain's way of keeping you stuck in the past. But the past cannot be changed, and thinking about it many times will not make it better. Still, our brain does not stop. It creates guilt and regret. This is another trap of overthinking. The effect of overthinking is not only in the mind, it also affects the body. People who overthink often feel tension in their shoulders, headaches, or even stomach pain. Their sleep becomes worse because when they go to bed, their mind does not rest. Instead of sleeping, they think. They think about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The body cannot relax, and the person feels tired in the morning. Over time, this can even harm health. Understanding overthinking is the first step to stop it. We need to recognize when it happens. Sometimes people say, "My mind is too busy." That's a sign of overthinking. If you are thinking about the same problem again and again, and if your thoughts make you feel nervous instead of calm, you may be caught in the circle of overthinking. Becoming aware of it is the first key. Without awareness, the brain will continue to control you. With awareness, you can begin to control your brain. In this guide, we will not only talk about the problem of overthinking, but also about practical ways to stop it. It is important to know that you are not alone. Almost everyone overthinks sometimes, but some people learn how to manage it and live more peacefully. They learn how to separate useful thinking from useless thinking. Useful thinking helps to solve problems. Useless thinking only creates more problems. In the next parts, we will learn simple techniques to slow down the busy mind and replace endless thoughts with calm focus. The journey to stop overthinking is not always fast. It takes practice and patience, but with small steps, it is possible. By understanding the problem, learning techniques, and practicing them daily, you can train your mind to think less and live more. You can enjoy the present moment instead of worrying about the past or the future. This guide is your first step to a calmer mind. Let's take that step together. Episode 2: The Hidden Costs of Overthinking. Overthinking may seem like a small problem at first. Many people believe that thinking a lot means being careful, being smart, or being prepared. But in truth, overthinking has many hidden costs. These costs are not always clear right away. They grow slowly, and they can affect almost every part of life. In this episode, we will explore how overthinking can hurt mental health, emotions, relationships, and even physical well-being. By understanding the hidden costs, we can begin to see why it is so important to control this habit. One of the biggest costs of overthinking is stress. When the mind goes in circles again and again, the body reacts as if there is danger. The heart may beat faster, breathing may become shallow, and the muscles may feel tight. Stress hormones like cortisol rise in the body. This makes a person feel tired, restless, and worried. Many people who overthink also have problems with sleep. They go to bed, but the brain does not stop talking. They remember the past, imagine the future, and ask endless what-if questions. Instead of resting, they stay awake for hours, which makes them feel weak the next day. Over time, this kind of stress can damage the immune system and lead to sickness. Another hidden cost of overthinking is the effect on emotions. People who overthink often feel sadness, guilt, or shame. They repeat old mistakes in their head and cannot let go. They may think about something they said years ago and feel embarrassed again, even though no one else remembers it. This habit increases feelings of anxiety and depression. It also makes people less able to enjoy the present moment. When the mind is always busy with the past or the future, it cannot see the beauty of now. Simple joys like the taste of food, the sound of music, or the laugh of a friend are lost because the brain is too busy with endless thoughts. Overthinking also damages relationships. When a person overthinks, they may question every word someone says. For example, if a friend replies late to a message, the overthinker might wonder, did I do something wrong? Is my friend angry? Do they not like me anymore? These kinds of thoughts create unnecessary fears. The person might then act differently, become distant, or even start arguments. Romantic relationships can also suffer because overthinking often creates jealousy or mistrust. Partners may spend too much time analyzing small details instead of trusting and communicating openly. Over time, this can break the bond between people. Another cost of overthinking is lost opportunities. Because people who overthink are often stuck in their head, they find it hard to make decisions. They weigh every option again and again, trying to find the perfect choice. But the perfect choice does not exist. While they are waiting to be 100% sure, the chance often passes. This can happen in many areas of life: job offers, travel, education, or even simple daily choices like trying a new hobby. People who overthink sometimes say, I wish I had done it earlier. But the habit of thinking too much stopped them. Overthinking can also limit creativity. The mind of an overthinker is like a closed room with no windows. Ideas do not flow freely because the brain is too busy analyzing. Creativity needs freedom, play, and sometimes a little bit of risk. But overthinking kills these things. For example, a writer who overthinks may never finish a story because they are always asking, is the sentence good enough? An artist may stop painting because they are too worried about mistakes. In this way, overthinking silences creativity before it even has a chance to grow. There is also the cost of time. Time is one of the most valuable things in life. Once it's gone, it never returns. Overthinking steals hours, days, and sometimes even years. Instead of taking action, people spend their time in endless thought loops. They may sit for an hour, 2 hours, or a whole day thinking about the same problem, but nothing changes. Life continues, but the overthinker stays stuck. Later, they may look back and wonder, where did all that time go? The hidden costs of overthinking are deep and serious. Stress, emotional pain, broken relationships, lost chances, and blocked creativity and wasted time are only some of the results. For many people, the habit begins small, but slowly it grows into something much bigger. It becomes a pattern that controls the way they live. This is why it is so important to notice these costs early and to learn how to stop the cycle. At the end of this episode, the main lesson is clear. Overthinking is not harmless. It is not just thinking a lot. It is a heavy weight that makes life harder in many ways. By seeing the damage it causes, we can find stronger motivation to change. In the next episode, we will look at the reasons why people fall into this trap in the first place. Understanding the roots of overthinking will help us find better ways to deal with it and start moving toward peace of mind. Episode 3: Understanding the real causes of overthinking. Overthinking does not happen by accident. It is a habit that grows slowly, often without people noticing it. To stop overthinking, we must first understand why it happens. If we know the reasons, we can find better ways to break free from it. In this episode, we will look at the most common causes of overthinking. These include fear, perfectionism, past experiences, and the fast modern world we live in today. One of the strongest reasons for overthinking is fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of failing, fear of what other people will think. These fears push the mind into a cycle of endless thoughts. For example, imagine a student who has to give a presentation. Instead of preparing calmly, the student spends days thinking, what if I forget my words? What if the class laughs at me? What if the teacher is disappointed? The student is so focused on fear that they cannot focus on action. This is how fear creates overthinking. The brain tries to prepare for every possible bad outcome, but instead of helping, it makes life harder. Another big reason is perfectionism. Perfectionists want everything to be perfect. The perfect answer, the perfect decision, the perfect plan. Because of this, they never feel ready. They spend hours checking, correcting, and asking themselves, is this good enough or should I do more? But perfection does not exist. Nothing in life is ever 100% safe or perfect. Still, perfectionists keep thinking because they hope to find that perfect solution. This endless search becomes a trap that steals time, energy, and peace. Past experiences also play a large role. People who experienced failure, rejection, or pain in the past often develop the habit of overthinking. For example, someone who was laughed at as a child for giving a wrong answer in class may, as an adult, spend hours checking their work before sharing it. They want to avoid the same pain again. The memory of past mistakes or hurtful moments makes them feel unsafe, so their brain creates a shield of thoughts. If I think more, maybe I can protect myself. But in reality, this shield only makes life heavier. Overthinking is also connected to worry about the future. The future is always uncertain, and many people feel nervous about it. Questions like, what if I lose my job? What if I fail the exam? What if I never meet the right person? Become common. Instead of living in the present, the mind jumps ahead, trying to prepare for problems that may never come. This constant future thinking brings no solution, but it increases stress. Another reason is the speed of the modern world. Today, people are surrounded by information, choices, and pressure. Social media, news, work, and study all demand attention. Every day, we see hundreds of options: what to buy, what to eat, what to do, where to go. This flood of information makes decision making harder. The brain becomes overloaded and begins to spin in circles trying to choose the best option. For example, even something simple like buying a phone can lead to hours of reading reviews, comparing prices, and doubting the choice. Modern life gives many opportunities, but it also gives many reasons to overthink. Overthinking can also come from low self-confidence. When people do not trust themselves, they question every step they take. Instead of saying, I will try, and if I fail, I will learn, they say, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I cannot do this. Self-doubt becomes the fuel for endless questions and worries. Without confidence, every decision feels dangerous, and the brain works overtime to avoid mistakes. Sometimes, overthinking comes from a good place. People want to care, to be responsible, to avoid hurting others. For example, a person may think for hours before sending a message because they want the words to sound kind and respectful. This shows that they have a good heart. But even good intentions can go too far. When thinking becomes too heavy, it stops being useful and starts being harmful. It is also important to know that the brain is designed to think. Thinking is its natural job. The problem starts when thinking is not balanced with action. Imagine a car engine that keeps running but never moves forward. That is what overthinking is: energy without progress. The brain is trying to help, but without direction, it only creates noise. In short, overthinking happens because of fear, perfectionism, past experiences, worry about the future, the speed of the modern world, and lack of self-confidence. Each of these reasons pushes the brain to think more and more, hoping to find safety. But the truth is, safety does not come from thinking alone. It comes from action, trust, and learning to let go. At the end of this episode, the lesson is clear. Overthinking has deep roots. It's not just about thinking too much. It's about fear, self-doubt, and the search for control. By understanding these causes, we can start to be kinder to ourselves. We can see that overthinking is not weakness. It's a habit that grew from our wish to be safe and successful. In the next episode, we will look at practical strategies that can help us break free from this cycle and begin living with more peace and clarity. Episode 4: Practical Steps to Control Overthinking. Overthinking is a habit. It does not come from one moment, but from many repeated thoughts. Because it is a habit, we can also learn to control it step by step. The first step is awareness. Awareness means noticing what is happening in your mind. Many people do not realize how much they think about the same problem again and again. They believe they are just trying to solve it. But in reality, they are repeating the same ideas without progress. So the first step is to say to yourself, I am overthinking now. This simple sentence gives you power. It helps you separate yourself from the thought. You are not your thought. You are a person who is having a thought. This small difference can change the way you feel. The second step is to challenge your thoughts. Ask yourself questions like, is this thought helpful? Will this worry change the situation? Do I know for sure that this will happen? Usually, overthinking comes with negative predictions. We imagine the worst possible result. But many times, our worries are not real. By asking questions, you can see if your thought is true or just fear. If it is only fear, you can tell yourself, this is not reality. It is only a thought. The third step is to use time limits. When we overthink, we spend hours thinking without action. A good strategy is to give yourself a short period, for example, 10 minutes, to think about the problem. After 10 minutes, you stop and continue with your day. If the thought comes back, you remind yourself, I already gave time to this. By using limits, you train your mind not to fall into endless circles. The fourth step is to replace your thoughts with actions. The mind needs something to do. If you leave it empty, it will return to worries. So, when you notice overthinking, change your activity. Go for a short walk, clean your room, do some exercise, or call a friend. These actions give your brain a different focus. They do not let your mind stay in the same negative space. Even small actions can create a big difference. The fifth step is journaling. Writing down your thoughts helps you see them clearly. Sometimes our thoughts feel bigger inside our mind, but when we put them on paper, they lose their power. You can write, today I worried about my work meeting. I thought people would laugh at me. But when I look at it now, I realize I am only afraid, not sure. This method helps you separate fact from fear. Many therapists recommend journaling because it gives you control over your mind. Another practical step is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the habit of staying in the present moment. Overthinking usually happens because our mind is in the future or the past. We regret things that already happened or fear things that may happen. Mindfulness brings us back to now. You can practice by focusing on your breath. Take a deep breath in. Feel the air enter your body, and then breathe out slowly. If a thought comes, do not fight it. Just let it pass and return to your breathing. Even 5 minutes of this practice every day can reduce overthinking. You can also use positive affirmations. These are simple sentences you repeat to yourself. For example, I am calm. I am in control of my mind. I choose peace. At first, it may feel strange, but the brain learns through repetition. The more you repeat, the more your brain believes it. Overthinking usually gives us negative messages. Positive affirmations replace those messages with healthier ones. Another useful step is to focus on solutions instead of problems. When you notice yourself going in circles, ask, what action can I take now? Even if the action is small, it is better than doing nothing. For example, if you worry about your health, instead of thinking for hours, you can call the doctor or start drinking more water. Taking action reduces worry because your brain feels progress. Lastly, be kind to yourself. Many people who overthink also blame themselves for it. They say, why am I like this? Why can't I stop? But this only creates more stress. Remember, overthinking is common. You are not alone. Millions of people experience the same problem. Instead of judgment, try self-compassion. You can say, I am learning to manage my thoughts. It will take time, but I am moving forward. This attitude will give you strength instead of shame. These practical steps are not magic solutions. They require practice and patience. But if you use them regularly, you will see progress. Awareness, questioning thoughts, time limits, action, journaling, mindfulness, affirmations, focusing on solutions, and self-kindness. Each of these steps can reduce the power of overthinking. Together, they can change your habit and give you more peace. Episode 5: Building a Life Free from Overthinking. Overthinking may feel like a part of your identity, but it does not have to define your life. You are more than your thoughts. A life free from overthinking is not about never having worries. Everyone has worries sometimes. It is about learning to live with thoughts without letting them control you. In this episode, we will focus on how to build a lifestyle that naturally reduces overthinking and gives you more peace. The first important step is routine. When your life has structure, your mind feels safer. Many people who overthink do not have clear routines. They let their mind decide everything at the moment, and this creates confusion. You can start by setting simple daily routines. Wake up at the same time, eat regular meals, and go to bed at a healthy hour. When your day has order, your brain does not need to overthink small choices. This frees energy for more important things. The second step is creating balance between work and rest. Overthinking often comes from stress. If you are always working or worrying about responsibilities, your brain will not stop. That is why rest is as important as work. Rest is not just sleeping. Rest can mean reading a book, listening to music, or spending time with friends. It is about giving your mind space to relax. By balancing work and rest, you send your brain a message, I do not need to be on high alert all of the time. The third step is building healthy habits for your body. Mind and body are connected. When the body is weak or tired, the mind becomes more vulnerable to overthinking. Regular exercise, even something as simple as walking for 20 minutes a day, can help release stress. Eating healthy food with enough water and vegetables keeps your energy stable. Avoiding too much caffeine or sugar also reduces anxiety. A healthy body creates a calmer mind, and a calmer mind does not fall into endless worry as easily. Another step is creating a supportive environment. The people around you influence your thinking. If you spend time with negative people, your brain will also take in their negativity. But if you connect with positive, supportive people, you will feel safer and calmer. Try to spend time with those who encourage you, listen to you, and help you see solutions instead of problems. Having one trusted person to share your thoughts with can already reduce overthinking. Sometimes speaking out loud makes worries smaller. You can also limit the information you consume. Today, we receive so much news and social media content. This can make our brains too busy. Too much information leads to more thinking, comparing, and worrying. To protect yourself, choose carefully what you watch, read, or listen to. Give yourself technology breaks during the day. For example, no phone before bed or after waking up. Instead, use that time for calm activities. Controlling information flow gives your brain more space to breathe. A life free from overthinking also means living with purpose. When you have clear goals, your mind has direction. Without goals, thoughts wander in circles. Think about what matters to you. It can be family, learning, health, or helping others. Set small goals connected to these values. When you wake up and know what your focus is, your brain spends less time on useless thoughts. Purpose is like a compass. It guides your energy toward what is meaningful. Another step is practicing gratitude. Overthinking often focuses on what is missing or what might go wrong. Gratitude shifts your attention to what is already good. You can keep a gratitude journal where you write 3 things you're thankful for each day. It can be simple, like, I had a good meal, or the sun was shining. This practice changes the way your brain works. Over time, you train your mind to notice positives instead of always looking for negatives. Forgiveness is also an important part of building peace. Many people overthink past mistakes or hurtful events. They replay the moments again and again. But the past cannot change. What you can change is your relationship to it. Forgiveness does not mean saying the past was okay. It means deciding not to let it control your present anymore. Forgiving yourself and others removes a heavy weight from your mind. It opens space for new experiences instead of old memories. Lastly, remember that progress takes time. Overthinking may have been with you for years. You can't expect it to disappear in one day. But every small step counts. Every time you notice a thought and choose to let it go, you are teaching your brain a new way. With practice, this new way becomes your natural habit. One day, you will notice that you spend more time living and less time worrying. That is success. A life free from overthinking is not a perfect life. It is a real life with ups and downs, but without the chains of endless worry. By creating routines, balancing work and rest, caring for your body, choosing supportive people, limiting information, setting goals, practicing gratitude, forgiving the past, and being patient with yourself, you build a foundation of peace. This foundation will support you through challenges and help you focus on the present. That is the true victory over overthinking.